Hey everyone, so this is the second video on Ask Me Anything that I posted in the community tab maybe a week ago or so. So let's get into series 2 of Ask Me Anything. No, I'm not gonna do that. That was sort of lame. I got some really good questions though, so I'm keen to answer them. So the first one is, hello, I am 28 years old, and since I can remember, my body has been in pain, particularly in the solar plexus region. Despite this, I've always excelled at sports or any bodily movements. At 17, my body could no longer handle the work and tight muscles left me on the sidelines. I feel like I'm at war between feeling powerless from the pain and finding worth through my physical body. While my life has changed in so many ways since my awakening, my body feels far from liberated. So that's really good. You feel like you've had an awakening and you've had a shift, and that would be doing so much of the work and healing on your body itself. Just that shift in consciousness alone will like raise your vibration and center you. So no matter what, and I know you said you've had the physical pain before that, but no matter what happens after you've had this shift and awakening, the pain of it will be a lot less because you're more conscious, so you're more tolerable to pain. And I would say with any physical pain the biggest thing is to just really as much as you can just allow for it to play out and just feel it, because in the pain is the grace, right? The suffering is the grace. And when you're truly just here, which you said you've had that shift, when you can just be present with what is coming up, whatever pain in the body is coming up, you just absolutely give it all your attention, but also don't put any label to it. Just give it all your attention. Then this magic happens where this allowance then brings full acceptance. So it all of a sudden takes away the pressure, because lots of the pain we create is from the mind, is thought generated. But what you are as the infinite, as consciousness, is eternal and is everything. So you're worthy of everything, and you never need it to be fixed. So everything that will come in your experience, or every pain you've dealt with from what you're dealing with physically, you never need it to be fixed. In fact, it's grace. That's why you have it. So just allow and just feel it, and just really tune into that feeling thing. When we feel whatever, it's like, why do I feel? I feel. Yeah, you get the message. So just allow and embrace, and even if it's hard, that's okay. All the thoughts that come that, oh, this is hard, like, why has this happened to me? That's fine too. Allow that, because all of that happens in the play and the images of who you really are, which shines through, which is eternal presence, which is infinite. And that's powerful. That's your power, which outshines any of that and allows all of that. So it's beautiful, and it's fine. It's okay that you have that. Okay, second question is, hi Noe, I would like to sign up and live in a world where there is no judgment. Same. That there's only me. you've mentioned that the only separation is mine. Can you please suggest ways to make my mind stop thinking that I'm not enough? So the whole, the separate self and who we think we are as the avatar will always feel like it's not enough, because that's exactly what duality is it's separation from who we really are, which is the infinite, which is eternal. So what the mind and avatar makes out is that there's always something missing, right? There's like, oh, I'm not spiritual enough yet, I'm not awake enough yet, I'm not present enough yet, I'm not this, that, this, and it just never seems to stop. It keeps going. It doesn't matter if it's a car, a house, even if someone gets to the spiritual path, which is sort of like the last road, it still can become another wanting, another like grasping. So you are enough. You're completely worthy, because who we are does just exist right now. It's just coming back to this right now, what's happening here. And I am this, I am all of this, which appears to be a separate sense, sound, images. But no, I'm the witness, the presence that shines through, and that is everything. So you are everything. It's just that the mind makes it out like you're not enough. But that really, that's just you as everything, as the whole, separating, going into the little me, when what you are is so big and vast. The ego, the mind, doesn't want to accept that, and it's really it's our light that we're scared of, because it's so powerful. So yeah, just you are enough. Come back to right now, breathe and feel, which is what you're doing, which is the path you're on, and what you're feeling now is that you are enough, that right now you simply have everything, because you are everything. So everything on top of that is just that. It's just part of the play. Okay, what does your day-to-day life of being enlightened look like, and how does it differ from before? Well, enlightenment is a really broad term. When we say that, enlightenment, awake or conscious, like, what do we mean? Do we mean someone in a cave in the Himalayas? Do we mean a, spiritual guru, or a meditation coach, or what do we mean by that? And what enlightenment is what we all are, essentially. It's really what we all are. It's just that the idea and belief that there's separation has made it appear like there's duality, and like there's something missing, or there's someone there to be enlightened or to become enlightened. But enlightenment is essentially what we all are, as the one being, as the infinite, but has just split itself off into what appears like separate consciousnesses and experiences. But it is just the infinite waking itself up to itself. So even right now, as you watch this, like, everything, including me, is you, just giving you these pointers to wake up to this. Because what appears like is here is the dream. The dream is the sense of separation, which feels absolutely real. But everyone is enlightened. It's really simple, but it's nothing that we can conceptually grasp, because it exists just now, which is eternal, which doesn't die. But I went a bit off track there. So how does that look like, and how does it differ from before? So really before I had a major shift, it doesn't look too different. Experientially, it probably feels different, because before there was a clear shift, I just wasn't present as much. I was thought identified. Afterwards, after the shift, I was actually just here. And it's sort of like a state that has just like, there's just a flow to it. And like beforehand, say I wouldn't notice anything. I wouldn't even notice like birds flying past, or just simple things like life happening around me. And now it's like a continuous feeling of flow and focus and presence, and you can feel after that shift more, there's that sense of that infinite and that deeper reality and intelligence that's always there. So there's still a sense of the avatar here, and that plays out how it wants to, but there's also, which keeps unfolding, is the deepening and just knowing and sitting in that life force and in that energy that was here before any avatars appeared, which is all of us, which is shared, that essence. So it's really just that. It's sort of a sitting in that, which is a vibration, and then form plays out how it wants to. But in the avatar and form, it's still very normal. I still, leave my socks out and still burn food cooking it. It's very normal. Please share your perception about all the symptoms in the body due to increasing energy. Many of us are feeling it so intense, plus all the emotional purging, and it's exhausting and painful, difficult to keep on day by day. Thank you. So it's important to remember in this process of awakening and global awakening that there is a lot of emotional purging that happens, and a lot of energy that will be flowing through your body. It makes sense, because you're peeling off layers of what you're not, or what you've believed yourself to be as the avatar or created. So you're peeling off layers of who you're not, so you're going to be more open and vulnerable and exposed. So it's just knowing that and being gentle with yourself in that process. And that's okay. The vulnerability is a good thing. If you're having strong, difficult emotions, you're feeling vulnerable, that's a good thing. That's a sign that there's something unfolding. Because the more we surrender and the more we become ourselves, the more is going to surface naturally. So it's like back to what I was saying in a question before, which was similar, is to just allow. It's just that always coming back to allowing, and you are that light. You are the light that shines through all form and everything into play, because that's all it is a temporary play. But who you are is eternal, is infinite. It just, to the avatar and to the mind, it doesn't seem like that. It seems very real and scary, and like there's something that's going to happen. But you're infinite, you're eternal. So how can anything touch you? How can anything hurt you when you've been always everything, everywhere. Okay, next question. Hey No, I'm curious what you do for a living. I just need some inspiration because I feel stuck for the past year. I guess I just don't have this deep trust in myself, or maybe it's fear of being seen. I feel like life is not flowing like I know it could. So for a living, I do support work. I do the YouTube videos and sessions with people, and work in the arts and film, which is sort of my like creative job hobby, which I guess like everything is our creative hobby and work, right? Because this is creative, life is creative, every moment is creative, because we are the creators, we create everything. But yeah, that's what I do. I would say if you feel stuck, just have some time to deepen into yourself, get into inquiry, and really be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself when you're inquiring, like, who am I? Who am I? Just come back to who am I, and who do you want to be? And when you deepen, and when you're going through your process of awakening, you're going to you're really joining with the force of life. You're joining with the infinite. So then it's going to help you in ways that you don't see, that it will be helping in the background. So it's having trust in that. You said you don't have the trust, so it's having trust in. You don't need to have trust in your avatar, because when you're awakening to who you are as the eternal, as the ever-giving life force, then that's going to shine through form and your avatar. So then everything you do or happens from there will be a byproduct of that, because you're flowing with yourself, you're flowing with life. So it's going to help you in whatever way you need. And yeah, we do have a fear of being seen, because we are that fucking big as energy, as life force, as the infinite, that we hide, we play small. So just keep coming back to now. What's happening here? Boom. This, that, life force, you, energy. And then the more clear you become, the more present you become, the more you'll realize that it's the mind doing this stuff, and the less you'll identify with it. So then you'll feel just clear. You'll feel clear to, okay, it's this intuition and force that comes through. Like, I should do this, that, and it's not even that you think about it. It will just happen. But then anything that happens from there is a bonus, because if you've awoken to who you are as infinite consciousness, everything on else is just the cherry on top, because that's just the images in the play, that's just the story. So that's everything else there, whether it is positive or negative from there, is just how it plays out. I want to know how your process of awakening took place, from the first time you heard the word spirituality to realizing that you already were enlightened and there was never anything to get to. So this is one I actually haven't spoken about in any videos or anything, but yeah, I guess I'll go back to the start. So I since I could remember, it was probably mid-teens, where I heard of meditation and spirituality, and there was sort of this attraction towards it. Like, I remember like, oh, there's this cool thing, like, what is this? It seemed very mysterious to me at the time. And I remember like searching up videos on YouTube, like how to meditate. And I remember I would, try to meditate in my room. But when I started trying to meditate, it was like, I remember it was like, I didn't actually understand what it was because I was so young. I was like trying to almost like, when I was sitting down, like visually stimulate myself, like, in the pineal gland, was like, trying to like, oh, like I'm meditating, whoa, I'm seeing like really cool stuff, almost like psychedelic in a way. That's what I thought meditation was, which is great. Like, if you, at any age, like if you can just start and become interested in it, that's already unfolding the process of like introspection and getting to know your mind. But yeah, pretty much it started around mid-teens, maybe like 16 or so, and just an interest in it. I remember like my dad gave me a couple of books, and that was really, after reading those, that was when there was like an opening of, oh, there's something else to just this ongoing thing that seems so normal. And yeah, since I was really young, I actually always was, to me it was always like, I had a really fun and normal upbringing in childhood, but also at the same time it was really painful, just like a lot of kids growing up. And there was a lot of confusion, anxiety, feeling lost, but something like never felt right within me. Something never felt right, and actually, it was really difficult in teenage years. Like, there was so much internal stuff. Like, you could say there was both happening. Like, there was, on the surface, like lots of fun and good stuff happening, but there was lots of internal suffering. And I was always questioning everything, like, as in, oh, why do I think, why do I feel, what is this? And I remember even thinking, because I remember feeling like, looking at some friends I had, like, oh, like, are other people doing this, like feeling like this? Like, what's wrong with me? Why am I so sensitive? And I remember even a mate saying to me at one stage, like, oh, you seem pretty happy, just like when we weren't hanging out or going out, you seem pretty happy, just like, sitting around meditating. And so to me, like, that the inquiry process had started really young. It's just been normal to me, like, what are other people thinking and feeling, and why am I thinking and feeling, and what's actually happening here? And so that was like, I felt like that was what was happening in teen years, and I just thought of it as like introspection, or I'm spiritual, or I'm introspecting, and I had no idea about any of this stuff. And when I got into around 17, 18 maybe, the arts and film, that's when more deepening and opening started happening, because what I was really interested in through that was reality and how reality worked. And yeah, it was just this complete obsession and fascination with, why do we think and feel? What makes a person do something? What is this? What why do people interact and it feels fake, and why is everyone walking around and like something doesn't feel right, and so it was always this like intense obsession with what is reality and what is this, and to me at the time, even through the arts and film, I just felt like, oh, I'm just interested in expression and the arts, and I'm spiritual and like la la la, and I didn't really even know until like the past year and a half or so that it was like from a young age, from a teenager, like proper inquiry, like always questioning what's happening inside of me, and it's quite amazing actually, even like looking back at it, but so that was happening, that was unfolding, and then I had moved to Sydney when I was younger, and when I moved to Sydney, started taking it a bit more seriously, like I was going to like spiritual groups here, like Buddhist group, Bhakti yoga group, or like doing meditation meetups, and that's when I started really deepening meditation practice, and was like setting a routine. I was like reading different books, doing the whole like spiritual seeking and spiritual search, and that's really fun. All of that stuff is really fine. So I was like, I kept, and I knew there was something else. It's like there was like the film stuff and the creative passion that was happening, and that's what I always thought it was about, but it was really like the whole time this love, and just pure love for what is reality and what's actually, who are we, and it was like always coming back to that. So the meditation practice was deepening. I was like going to groups for like a couple of years, but then it just hit this point where I was still suffering. The meditation was mostly, what I felt like when I was doing it was mostly just, I feel less stressed when I do it, I feel happy when I do it. So I kept coming back to it, and then I actually started feeling and realizing, wow, this is actually in life and my experience like shifting, like something's actually, it's seeping into my moment to moment experience, and there was still residues of suffering. And then I really just got to the point where I was like just willing to do and try anything to deepen and to wake up. And I think that's what you have to, that's what can really help, is just that willingness to try and do anything. And it's really just the fear that will stop you from that, because it's really scary to the mind, all of this stuff. It doesn't want to be looked at, and so that's when the shift happened, was when I was going on retreats, I was trying anything I could, pretty much just like absolute surrender. And then the shift happened. Then it was like clear shift happened. Something had really changed. I felt more myself after. I felt like all my anxiety was gone, like pretty much completely present. And after that, it was really like when the serious inquiry, like intentional inquiry began, and I realized like, I'd been doing this since I was a lot younger, and then from there it did start off maybe a bit more like spacious, and then it became like somatic. So then the past year or so, year and a half, has been like the body work, the somatic body work. So like looking at the body, like doing body inquiry and stuff like that, and then it led to making this channel and doing these videos, which seem to just like flow out of that. And that's right. it is realizing that's the whole thing. It's really simple at the same time. Like when that shift happens, it's realizing that this was always here since you were a kid, because when we are a kid, we aren't as identified with the form and play. We are really just flowing with life. We are like just so open and vulnerable as a kid. So it feels like something that was always here and is there for everyone. It's very simple. It's just everyone is awake as the infinite, just dreaming itself as this separate avatar. I've been meditating for 1 year and came across the non-dual teachings more recently. I'm finding it strange that this teaching has nothing to do with spirituality, and I've heard a lot of people who teach it say that they are not spiritual. It's as if you are saying it has nothing to do with God. So the non-dual teaching is what it's essentially pointing at, is that there's not two things. There's no subject, object. There's no separation. And what appears like the separation is the illusion, is the dream. And what it's saying is that we are the one being that just has separated itself, just forgotten itself. And so it appears like there's a me here, there's something over there, where you are just that eternal one being that's come down into form and has chosen to see itself as separate. And it's not about, none of this should be about being spiritual, because we're breaking out of that term now, because it can become another sort of like religion in a way, where it becomes like, oh, I'm spiritual, or I'm trying to become more spiritual. And what does that even mean? We should just know and come back to what's happening now. Who actually am I, and what's actually happening now? And if I am eternal and I'm everything and I'm the infinite, how can I be spiritual? How can I be any of these things? It doesn't matter if someone is spiritual or not spiritual. It's essentially who we all are. And then the next question you had was, my next question is it wrong to meditate for manifestation purposes? No, if that's something that in your heart you feel like you desire and you want, and that's what needs to unfold, then do that. You can meditate for manifestation purposes, but just know that who you are as the infinite, as the one being, is whole, is everything, or always was everything. So manifestation is a good thing, but the illusion is that there's something to be gained or there's something to become. But then who you actually are as eternity, as right now, doesn't need anything. But if you want to manifest that in form, or for that to play out, then that's okay as well. You should do that. What do you think about the use of psychedelics for spiritual purposes? Cool, this is a good question. This is a big one for a lot of people now. I feel there, especially from the 60s and 70s, as we saw, or maybe older generations, there was a lot of unnecessary paranoia and ignorance around these natural medicines. And what we're seeing now play out in the story is people are waking up to, oh, these are natural medicines and these heal people. Especially here in Australia, there's been a bit of a boom with that stuff. Like, it's all becoming legalized. And I think firstly, like, we don't actually know, so much of us, all of us don't actually know what these medicines and plants are. They're portals into consciousness. They're not something that is fun or like to be played around with. I think if you're going to try natural medicine, then really do your research and respect it. But yeah, I think if it's something you feel you aren't supposed to do, then another video dog. If it's something you feel like you're not supposed to do, then don't do it. But if there's a curiosity there, you want to deepen and experience that, then you absolutely should. You should go for it. But yeah, they're things that we don't actually fully understand. They're portals into consciousness, and they can show us, they can give us a glimpse of reality. But yeah, it's really just tuning into, like, is this something I should do or not? And yeah, I know even at universities and stuff here now, they're being heavily researched, and I think from these experiences that we can have, they show us that we are the medicine, right? And I think for me, what it comes back to is, what are all the factors now? What are all the things that play a part in the awakening of people here? And the plants and natural medicines definitely have a part in that. So yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's different. It's different to moment to moment inquiry, and like actually introspecting and being present moment to moment. So if you can do that, like I did that for a long time before I tried any of that. I meditation for a long time, so I don't think you need to do that. But if you can blend both of those together, and it feels like it's something you want to experience, then you absolutely should. But also, it's probably not for everyone, and that's okay as well. It's probably guided to the right people at the right time. Hey Noe, I want to know, why is there something instead of nothing, and why would God allow for the tiniest bit of bad emotions, i.e. states of suffering? Surely I could feel joy all my life without feeling any pain. It's a vibration theme. So I think it's not that God is like doing something bad, or like why would he allow bad things to happen. It's moving out of the opposites of good and bad, or this should or shouldn't be happening. And it's what it is when there's suffering, it is the infinite God really waking up to itself, because we can only become conscious through suffering, right? So these things have to play out. These things have to play out in people and in the world for us to awaken, because the infinite essentially is awakening to itself, but there's still parts of it that when it's lost in the dream, when the infinite is lost in the dream, and there's separation, that creates suffering, because if everyone was conscious, and if we were completely conscious now, yeah, there wouldn't be any of these world events happening, because we'd be in a vibrational state that would be in full creativity, and we'd be probably doing things, experiencing things that we couldn't even imagine. So it's just trusting the process, and whatever is happening for you in states of suffering, just knowing that it's that deeper intelligence at play, and doing the working there. So yeah, that's all the questions. Thanks for looking at this video if you did, and yeah, thanks.